So 3, 2, 1. Hey, folks, welcome to Bouncing Brains. I'm Sean Hatfield.
And I'm Freddy G, and it feels good to be back. I feel like we haven't done this in years.
We took a little hiatus last week, thanks to the subscribers who are still watching and haven't decided to dump us off their feed. Hang on in there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support.
We will bring you more excellent interviews, starting off today, of course, with our guests, Chuy and Carmen from Caldo Frío and Monstro Bohemio. Mm-hmm. It's great to have y'all in here.
Thank you, buddy.
I remember running around with open mics with you guys like 4 or 5 years ago, almost, man. Just
has it been that long?
So y'all been at it for a minute.
I've been around a little bit before that.
Yeah, because I'm the type of person that I remember. I remember faces. I don't remember names, but I remember. And you look very familiar. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure it was from the comedy scene and everything.
Yeah, I tried it out for a minute. It was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Why did you keep going?
I don't really know.
Were you just trying to impress?
Actually, Sean, did you scare me out of comedy?
I didn't. I actually remember one of your bits that involved taking a tequila shot. Don't remember the punchline, but I remember the tequila shot.
No, yeah. I don't know who it was in the scene, but they kind of scared me because I would always take a shot or two before I started.
That's awesome.
And someone was like, "You don't want to depend on that because you're going to become an alcoholic." And I'm just like, too late.
Really?
But
what dick would say?
Where were you?
I don't remember who it was.
5 years later,
whoever you were.
It's good criticism though, for sure. I like receiving criticism.
But that's bad fucking advice. That's not true.
Yeah.
The second time that I was ever the first time I always get them twisted. See, I was fucked up. The first time I was ever on stage, I was drunk, but I was like way. Yeah. I was well into like half a bottle of Jose Cuervo when I got on stage
to do a comedy bit. Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did 15 minutes. And it was funny.
That's a long time.
I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny.
So, but
after about half a bottle, everything's kind of a...
Yeah.
This is what was very entertaining to me. Because I mean, they were laughing, but then later I figured out, I was like, maybe they were just laughing at me. Because...
as long as people laugh. That's
the following week, I went back to the same club. And I performed again, but I did it sober. I wasn't drunk, and I bombed. So I was like, "Damn you, Cuervo! I need you right now." So yeah, but this was also in LA. So LA is very unforgiving. Like if you're not funny, they have no problem staring at your ass. Just. Yeah, and it gets real awkward real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I want to say the last time that I had a chance to catch up with y'all was maybe about a year and a half back. Y'all were getting ready to do the album release with, it was Monstro Bohemio, right?
Mm-hmm. Probably. Was it the one at Cena?
It was.
That was last March, yeah. That was last March.
That would be the show I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Because the last time I'd seen you live was that rooftop show where the cops showed up and arrested the owner.
Oh, I was so pissed. You remember that? I was so angry. I was like screaming from the balcony like, fuck pigs.
Yep. I was even fucked up how he pulled up. Like the cop just like pulled in the middle of the street. Like I'm blocking all this traffic for a noise complaint.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
On a rooftop. Like.
And that only happened. I've noticed that it only happens here. Like the noise complaint, it's really big. Like down here, you go everywhere else, and that law exists. Like the disturbing the peace, but everywhere else in the U.S., I've been to Miami and I've been to like L.A. and stuff. Like that shit does not apply. Like nobody pays attention to that shit. Yeah, it's 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Shit is going off the roof, literally, and nobody gives a shit.
I mean, I think they have stopped in the last year. There was like a couple, maybe like 3 months.
That noise ordinance.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of that shit. But,
no, we organized like a motherfucker for that, and we came through. We went to all the city hall.
Yeah, that was really fucked up. How they
meetings and we weren't having it. No,
think about the neighborhoods, and it was like those neighborhoods have been there for 20 years. You know,
they'll be fine. One more night. I mean, ain't none gonna go
Saturday night or Friday night.
You told me they all woke up one day and were like, "It's the noise. It's these kids with their rock and roll."
There literally only like 2 old people showed up being all anti about it.
Well, I want to say it may have been the Monitor or something, and don't quote me on it. I barely remember the article, but there were at least a couple of the local residents that were like, "Leave them alone." Like,
no,
I mean, yeah. I mean, there are shops down there that.
Shout out to Miss Sandra. Sandra Walker was one of them. She's always supporting the scene.
Right on.
Like, I live super close by. It doesn't bother me.
That's crazy.
I enjoy the rock and roll.
They don't stand a chance.
And then there was the whole business about the city basically trying to redirect the entertainment traffic.
Oh, yeah?
Down towards their own investments.
Hell no.
Come on now.
Nope.
They basically think this thing is like Sim City. They can just, we'll put the entertainment district over here, and it's like, nah.
If not, we'll move it around. We'll move it this way and see how that works out.
Anything that's like entertaining or like good for the public, they just like find a way to destroy it eventually.
If they can't make money off it.
Well,
it reminds me a lot of cocaine when it was acceptable. Now it's like if you do cocaine, it's like you're the devil's reject. I don't support anybody doing cocaine, by the way.
Me either.
Me neither.
Everybody just got quiet. Like, I don't support that either.
I don't support cocaine at all.
I was going somewhere with that shit.
We snort it. I can support it. I'm just kidding.
So,
I keep adding to it.
So,
get a responsible dealer, kids.
Speaking of cocaine, who do you think is going to take this, Beto or Cruz?
We literally just saw an update. I think Beto's at 58% right now, and Cruz is at like 49, something like that. I'm actually avoiding. I'm not even looking at the.
I don't know. Hopefully Beto, just because it sounds Hispanic.
Really?
Oh my God.
You're voting just because it sounds Hispanic?
No, I'm not voting, but I know everyone is.
Are you guys ready? Buckle your seatbelts for this one.
I'm not voting, but I know everyone's voting because it sounds Hispanic.
But okay, let me ask you a question real quick.
Here we go.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
Into politics.
You're not voting. Why? Because you choose not to, or because you can't?
I can't because I can't. If I had the choice, I wouldn't.
I totally.
But if he could, he wouldn't.
If I could, I wouldn't. Yeah, at all.
You just totally fucked up the point that I was going to make.
What was the point?
Because I was gonna say the same thing with me. Like I'm not gonna vote. Like I didn't vote, but because I can't vote. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Peeing in public is frowned upon, so I'm kidding.
In public? Oh.
Peeing in public.
I'm kidding. That's not what I did, but yeah.
No, that was one of O'Rourke's positions. Okay. Need to get rid of this urination in public ban.
I honestly think I was reading an article today at lunchtime. I didn't see the update that you said you just saw.
I literally just saw it. That's like I only caught a glimpse of it because I opened up Facebook and it's like the first thing that opened up. I didn't even try to.
No, I read an article like at 1, and it says we were saying something like that he did have a chance to like overtake the House, but that it like that it was still a long shot, and it gave like it was an article on the New York Times. Mm-hmm. And it gave like a breakdown of how he could take it, but also all the cons on like how it can go sideways or whatever. Mm-hmm.
I blame the Electoral College every year. Fuck shit up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Not applicable in this position, but we can have that argument.
Yeah.
You know, it makes sense if you want to believe in if you want to go with the straight Republic route, then yeah, you have to have the Electoral College balances out all the states and all that. But like we keep like leaning towards
you don't have to have it. I just want to throw that out there.
If you want to have a representative republic, you do, because that's the balance between large and small states.
That's true. Well, when you look at it that way, that's true. But
that's what I'm saying. If you're going with the straight republic argument.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I got you. I missed that part. Because I also have an argument about the straight republic, because you can't claim to be a republic and then fully support democracy. It's kind of weird.
Well, it's kind of the way that the way Texas is set up for legislation, which is it nods to the republic very heavily in the sense that you have to have a majority to introduce legislation. It has to get through committee that requires majority. There's stop gaps along the way, and then there's the way. Damn it, I can't remember the specific mechanism, but like there's some shit set up here in Texas where like there is no leaning towards mass democracy at all. I mean, you can use democracy.
I mean, it's always been like that. That's my thing. That it's always been that way. Like especially here in Texas, like there's no it. Now, what I'm about to say is my opinion. I understand that, but it just feels like here in Texas, you kind of have the right to vote. But it feels like when you vote, at the end of the day, your vote kind of doesn't matter. Because it kind of, going back to what you're saying, all the little hoops and gaps that you got to go through, not you, but that they go through, it kind of feels like at the end of the day, they do whatever the fuck they want.
I agree.
I
feel the same way.
Again, my personal fucking opinion, but that's just I'm just being realistic about the situation.
And this is
because we're in a red state, or
see that even that you can't really say that. You can't really say because we're in a red state. It's just like I said, and I'm not shitting. Well, I kind of am shitting on my own state, but it's just like for some reason here in Texas, it feels like it's always like that. Like there's other red states, but it doesn't feel in other red states it doesn't feel like it's as technical, referring back to what you were saying, as it is here in Texas. You know what I'm saying?
Now, one of the advantages though is that say this bullshit that was going on in Georgia where they were like basically expunging the voter rolls like 2 weeks before the elections and all that. That shit's not going to happen here in Texas. Freddie, stop checking your phone, damn it. If the kid is not headed to the emergency room, put the phone down. Not intending to threaten small children. Occasionally you have to. But yeah, that whole process wouldn't have taken place because to expunge the voter rolls here in Texas, you have to actually go through the legislative process. So like that's where the republic, it's kind of like that old line, which it's not real, but it's attributed to Benjamin Franklin. You have a republic if you can keep it. It requires so much fucking diligence, man, because you have to vet every, it's not even down to like, oh, well, he's in my party. It's like, no. We're going down to brass tacks. Where are you getting your money? What do you actually intend to do with legislation?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. It feels like it comes down to that when they're talking about that, when they're talking about legislation, when they're talking about what are you trying to do with this law? What are you trying to do here? But when it comes to like when they really want to get something their way, it feels like all of that shit that you just said is out the window. And like I said, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I feel that Republicans as a whole, that's the way it is. And yes, I fucking said it.
Well, a great example was the gerrymandering that took place here in Texas back in 2006. Anybody remember this one with, was it the K Street Boys and all that bullshit out of Sugar Land in Houston? I can't remember his name at the moment. Basically what it was is you had enough of these greasy motherfuckers that were in there that like it was elections where people went, well, shit, I don't want a Democrat in there. I better vote for the Republican. And turns out the Republican was not only susceptible to being a Republican, but susceptible to like this, damn it, I wish I could remember the guy's name, Ken something or other, but DeLay, maybe? Don't quote me on that. Point being, man, like he came up with this bright idea. Well, if we go into a situation where it is a majority type of rule, like here in Texas, and if you get that like coalition together, then it's like you can push through the gerrymandering and the various things. Unfortunately, unfortunately for them, fortunately for us here in Texas, they got called out on a lot of that because it was unconstitutional. I mean, they were going about it in a way that not only violated state law, but violated federal voting laws as well. So, I mean, there is, like I said, it's very susceptible to the majority sway. But I mean, that can be said for straight democracy as well.
Yeah, and I've always said that. I've always said, look.
Sorry, you guys came on here to talk about music, and
did we? I don't know. I don't really know.
We totally fucked that up.
This is election Tuesday, y'all.
It's
all
right. It's all right. It's like a
Republicans are known to be very like assertive and aggressive, and it's kind of like
not only.
Well, I was having a conversation with someone a while back. Now that I think about it, it may have been Freddy here, but we were talking about the idea of like the conservatives are more like it's here in the book. You know, they'll point at the definition and they'll hold the whole thing to it, right? Like they're not willing to sway on stuff like that, and. Fortunately and unfortunately, a lot of situations, because when they cheat, they try to claim, more like, we didn't cheat. Whereas like, it's like, no, whereas with, like the Democrats and some of the stuff that's going on with the hearings right now, not only the judicial hearings, but some of the legislative hearings where they're like, well, it's a stupid rule. And it's like, that's not a good excuse. You want to change the rule. By all means, change the rule.
But the thing is that along with what Sean is saying, if you're going to change it, that's fine. But whatever you change it to or whatever the role is, you have to stick to the whole thing. You can't just stick, excuse me, sorry. You can't just stick to like the part that's convenient to you. It's like this one's convenient, like in this situation, but like if this is not gonna benefit me, like I'm gonna, like what you were saying, I'm gonna twist it in some way to like so I can say that I didn't
corruption.
I didn't say it say it that way.
Pretty much.
And that was just bluntly put. It was corruption. Yeah, man. If you really want to.
That's what it is. Actually, the funny part is to kind of watch. I mean, this is when the dark sense of humor comes over. But when you watch people like go through the corruption process, but like whether depending on what their personal temperament and allegiances are, like I was saying, when the Republicans go dirty, they tend to like, I didn't cheat. You're wrong and all this shit. Whereas like. Almost the other end where it's like, no, I did cheat, but I was morally right about it, and it's like somewhere in the middle. Can't we? I mean, I get there's a gray scale somewhere. I've always been of the contention that if you can break the rules and get away with it in an intelligent manner without harming anybody, by all means, we need more of you in the crowd. Right. Yeah.
I think there's too many rules.
Possibility,
too
man.
Many.
Then you get the problem where the rules we do have are like 1,000 pages long, and you go, who the fuck understands this?
Yeah, exactly. When Section 4, Part A, Section D at the bottom towards the end, it was like, Jesus, I forgot what I was asking you.
What was my crime again?
Yeah. But let's do this. Everybody, there's still time. Vote for Beto. Now about
this isn't going out live.
Shit.
True. We gotta post this tomorrow, right? I know. It's Wednesday, and I guess Beto won.
We'll record 2 different endings to this podcast, depending on which one. We'll put that out.
Cool.
It's the old South Park dilemma, right?
Yeah. So tell us both about your music, man. How did it start? How did it come about? What is it about?
Easy shit.
What you want to know, like with Chuy and I, or both our groups, or
what do you do? What do you do?
Musical history.
Yeah.
Who raps first?
Tell us about your musical history.
Who raps?
We rap together.
You rap together.
We MC together.
But you rap as well. Nice. The female rap. I've always been intrigued by like a female rapper because men we can all do it. By the way, I'm saying this because
that's just dog shit, motherfucker.
No. Like
I feel super complimented right now.
What I mean is
like everybody raps. Every man raps.
Like what I mean is. Like it's very common to see like a male rapper.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. With a female rapper, it's like a unicorn. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't see it as much. So that's all I meant before y'all jumped on my ass and shit. So like in your songs, y'all do it together, or is it a compilation? Like you do one song, then you do one song.
I think it depends on which idea is established first. Sometimes we'll have a beat already made, or sometimes we'll have a concept in mind and make music revolving around the concept. So it just depends what comes first.
So that's a good question that you kind of popped in my head. What is your writing process like for both of you when you collaborate?
Writing process.
Like, is it like you?
We'll try to.
It can be anything. Like you can start like with a sample or with an app, like an idea, like a concept for a song.
Like you literally heard it. We were kind of like jamming out to some new tracks that we've been mixing, and just one thing leads to another. You kind of just hear some things in your head. Like I said, sometimes we might already have a concept for it, and we'll just go with it. But my favorite way of writing is to kind of like make a beat or already have maybe something in mind, like a feeling attached to the music that we're already making.
Me personally, when I think that I write the most, like right now, I first like working on music, like doing the instrumentals, but like right now I don't have access to making them, to be making the instrumentals. So the only thing that I have to do is like write lyrics. So I've been writing lyrics for the past week to music that we already had.
Okay, but what I wanted to point out was like, is it when you write and you're trying to mesh the song together, like do you write a verse and then kind of toss it at her, and then do you go off of that, or vice versa?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes we'll have like little concepts, and or sometimes we just have no clue like what we're starting with, but we're just like, okay, this is a good jam. What does it remind us of? What does it feel like? And like, oh, you know what? This song sounds like.
Yeah, like the music. Sometimes like the music gives you like the words, and then from there you go.
Yeah.
When I, because in high school I used to rap and record demos and mixtapes and stuff like that.
What was your rap name?
Well, I went through. I don't have
one. That's why
I went through a lot, man, and like I remember one like a lot of the ones that I went with were like real corny when I started. But one that I stuck with was Blaze One.
Blaze One.
Blaze One. That's what.
That's cool.
Because I used to smoke a lot back then, like a lot. So I kind of stuck to that.
Blaze One, smoke a lot.
Yeah. So I used to so my thing was that I was kind of like you. I would kind of listen to the track, kind of let it play in my head, and then I would listen to it to where I could literally hear the beat in my head without the music. So then I would go, and because I had at least those 16 bars memorized of the track, I would write different drafts of 16 bars. So, and then I would pick and choose like which is the one, and then I would go into the booth and literally record it and then listen to it. Does it sound right? If not, I would scrap it, record the other one, and that's kind of how I would.
A ver cuál cabe.
Yeah, that was one of the ways that I used to. I remember that I used to do it.
I feel like we don't have a really structured way of doing it. It's just like just whatever happens, whatever feels right, kind of vibe it.
Sometimes that's the best way. Like sometimes not having structure and letting the moment.
You never want to force it. You never want to have to like sit down like we have to write something for this. Like no, it's like we just jam it, we like it, we're gonna do it. It just comes out.
Well, although lately I've been doing it like that, like just forcing myself to do it, like forcing
to write.
Well,
because you don't have your laptop.
Pushing it down. Huh?
Because you don't have your laptop.
But yeah, cause I just wanna like keep myself productive, like just.
That's good. That's my advice that I give to every creator. Mostly comics, but a habit that I picked up is I write 2 hours out of every day. I write. I mean I'm a comic, so it's a little different. But I write 2 hours every day. I write something. I'm not saying that I write jokes like that the joke comes out every time I write, but I'm just saying that I just write, and then eventually it formulates into something. But I feel that when you have that practice that you keep doing it,
it's easier.
Yeah, it's easier when you get the inspiration.
Flows a lot easier when. and I'm pretty sure it would work with music as well.
Yeah, pretty much.
In high school, that's also the reason as to why I used to read a dictionary for fun. People used to make fun of me because I used to read a dictionary for fun. I used to walk around, and it was back then when there was no phones, no internet. So I used to walk around with a dictionary. I would just read, and they would ask me, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just trying to learn new words." But because back then it was real, like the battle scene was real big in my school. So,
what school did you go to?
Mackay.
Oh, Mackay.
Do you know any of our boom bap brothers?
Like
Sergio Evolve and Weldon and Mike Meltz.
Nah, I don't think
Those guys are real hard on back in the day. Well,
Yeah.
they're still performing.
No. Most of the people that I hung out with.
They had like a little battle league.
Okay, no. Most of the people that I hung out with in high school are dead or in jail. So yeah.
Lone survivor.
There's a couple. They're around, but yeah, I would and I used to always remember that they used to make fun of me. Because I used to like be reading the dictionary.
Now you just ask Google whatever word you want to.
It's a lot easier. It's spoon fed to you now, man. It's a lot easier. But
planning to get in and record anything. I'm assuming that's when the structure is really going to have to be.
Yeah. That's also one of the reasons. Like what lately this past week I've been like trying to get all the songs ready, everything. Because like I feel we have enough material to record another like album or mixtape or whatever.
Right on.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the response to the last one was fairly good.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I think we had a really good response for all three actually. Well, yeah, the first one was a lot of fun, and the second one, yeah, it's people jam both of them. I feel like pretty equally, so that's nice.
And so we love doing it. It's really good.
Y'all do it straight physical sales, or do you have it up?
No, it's mostly now. This is mostly digital sales. It's because people don't want to buy physical anymore.
Hey man, hold on. I still buy physical copies.
Well, what do you know? Look at all
because I take pride in like I like having the actual physical.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that, but like the vast majority of people, they don't wanna. Like one of my friends told me like, actually Anthony told me he was looking for an album on a Best Buy, and he realized that they don't have CDs anymore. Like he couldn't find it. They don't have anymore.
No CDs at Best Buy.
Like they have a few, like super few. They don't have like a selection like they used to have. Because it's not worth it anymore.
The other thing that I still respect a lot about CDs is the artist that puts out a CD today, like in this day and age, and they manage to sell out physical copies. That's amazing to me. Like it's because it's difficult because like you were saying, everything is digital now. Everybody wants everything quick and downloaded.
Actually, the last one that we did, we didn't print any physical, but like the guy who did the mastering, he just ordered like 5 copies, and he gave me 3, and he kept 2. But I wouldn't order any like physical copies.
Yeah.
It also kind of sucks when you don't have like a merch person. Like it's usually just us at shows, so we'll bust out a briefcase or like our box full of stuff.
Yeah.
After the show, or maybe not just bring it with us, and we're like neither one of us wants to actually like be there, like sit down and make sales. It's just kind of like we're all just enjoying the atmosphere and like forget it. We just forget about it.
I remember back in the day when we were, because I used to work with this one other guy. It was both of us, and back then the only social thing that we had was MySpace, and at that time MySpace was barely taking off. It wasn't big the way it got before it crashed and burned or whatever. But so it was before that. So I remember that the way we used to do it, we used to literally print and press our own mixtapes, and we would go to the movies on a Friday night, Hollywood on Nolana. and we would drive around like jamming the like our music, and people would like we would stop and we'd park and they would be listening, right? So then we would approach them and it was like, hey man, like this is what we got or whatever, and at $5 a pop, that's how we started, and we literally used to like sell them out the trunk of the car, just and then that's how we did it, like with no social media.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, we've been discussing, or like I thought of something cool. It'd be like, how fun it would be just to kind of just walk around downtown with like a set of headphones and like just a bunch of junk, and then ask people if they want to listen for a minute and if they're interested in buying, like just fucking walk around.
Yeah. No, but see, like I know, and that I'm not gonna knock that idea. Like you should definitely do it. Try it, and you will get a response. But I'm just saying now it's a lot easier to, I feel, especially with music, it's a lot easier because you just have to like upload your music and flush it out through your social media. And if you've built your following, like it'll like, especially with music. With comedy is a little different because we're not really recorded like that, you know what I mean? But with music, like if you flush it out and if you have that one track that people can latch onto, like it'll run like fire. So but definitely a good idea. You should try it. I mean, it's hard. You have to go put the work in and everything. Sometimes we would be parked outside for hours.
Just like 10 years ago, I would work.
Yeah, like sometimes we would be parked outside in the parking lot for hours, literally 4 or 5 hours to sell like freaking 3 CDs, and that's all we took or whatever. And sometimes we would move a lot.
Yeah. I was just thinking about it, but there were a couple things that MySpace actually did right that would probably be more beneficial for the artists. Like, I mean, y'all maintain. I don't know who's running the social media on this. Future.
We pretty much don't run it.
Fair enough. Every once in a while, I'll see a post up from Monster Bohemian or Caldo Frío.
So really, all you could do is just like kind of like promote the shows and share flyers. That's pretty much it.
MySpace used to have a thing though where you actually had the player up at the top of the page.
I miss that. I wish Facebook had something like that.
And all you can do is put a link.
Yeah, and back in the day, everybody was able to know how to do like coding for a specific thing. Now you ask me how to do it, I'm like, I don't remember.
Facebook. I mean, it's
MySpace. I mean, I don't really care about what, but like, I like that feature of like having a little media player. What did I have on there? Do you guys remember what kind of music you had on there?
Yeah, I actually remember the last track I had on there before I never logged in again was seriously, it was Hit 'Em Up by Tupac.
I'm pretty sure we're all still there.
Yeah.
Apparently you can still recover your login, but who the fuck cares?
I think I deleted my whole thing.
The whole bitch.
Yeah.
I just logged out one day and never logged back in. But yeah, for a lot of the artists,
I've never thought of MySpace until like right at this moment.
I reminded you of it.
I was just thinking about it because I found a lot of musical artists on there before like SoundCloud was really a thing. They'd have their tracks posted up.
Yeah. And I think it's still kind of a pretty well-functioning, like our artists are starting to go
that seems to be the way they're leaning.
Yeah.
I remember seeing, who was it? I think it was Christina Aguilera before she was who she is today on MySpace. And I remember seeing her like on all the little banners, Christina Aguilera, and I don't know what. And I was like, who's that white chick? Like, and I was like, why are they making such a big deal? And then I remember clicking on the track, and I was like, I don't want to listen to this shit. So, and then I was like, oh shit, that was Christina Aguilera, my bad. So
I don't know was it Genie in a Bottle or was it something way before that?
It might have been something before Genie in a Bottle, because I think Genie in a Bottle was what made her blow up.
Okay.
Yeah, so it might have been something before that. And she was young. Like, she was... that's why I remember. I was like, who's that girl? Like, she was actually pretty before all the fake stuff.
Feel like I've been locked inside.
Yeah.
It's a good song.
It's a good song.
I like her songs too.
Yeah.
Oh, she could sing her ass off.
And but MySpace was a thing for music.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I remember I started I started my own promotional party company or whatever.
LLC.
Through MySpace, because back then I was really young and I was really big into my drinking days and my partying days, so I used to hang out with a lot of people. So then a lot of people started hitting me up so that I could organize like their house party or whatever. And then my friend told me, because I was real ignorant to like the marketing, and I didn't know any of this. All I knew was that I like to smoke weed and drink.
Yeah.
That's all I like. That's all. So I was like, I just like to party, man. And I would.
Was he trying to help you get some money out of it?
Yeah. So he was like, dude, like, have you seen how many people you've been able to gather and take to parties and stuff like that? Like, you can make money. And I was like, really? How? And he started telling me, I was like, dude, if you organize your own party, you can start charging these people. And I remember the first time he told me, he was like, you can charge for making an appearance. And I was like, dude, I'm nothing special. I just show up, drink, and smoke. It's what the fuck I do. I mean, there's nothing special about that.
This is how promoters are born, Freddy.
Yeah, but then he kind of showed me the ropes, and it took two people that actually. And I didn't even know how to charge. I didn't know any of that. So they came up to me and I was like, hey, man, somebody told me that you organize parties. Can you organize my birthday? And I was like, yeah, how much you charge? And I remember just back then throwing out a crazy number. I think I told him $200. And he was like, oh, for real? And right then and there, he was like, damn. And I was like, okay, so I got this, you know.
I'm into it.
I guess I have to make it. Like,
so then I like fast forward, I started doing that, and I started making money from it, but I was drinking a lot, and I was doing a lot of drugs, so I wasn't really seeing the return, you know, because I was doing all of that. Then what happened was, I don't know if y'all remember, also way back in the day, there was this other guy that came up as well, but he was a lot more sophisticated about the business. I'll never forget his company name or his imprint or whatever. He was called the Party Monster. And he had his little logo. He even had like decals on his van and everything. He had like a little party bus. But I mean, it wasn't really a bus, but it was like a party van or whatever. And he would drive around the valley with that, right? So he started doing the same thing, but like I was the ghetto version, and he was the professional version. You know what I mean? So he started doing that. So then he found out that I was doing it. I already knew that he was doing it, and it kind of grew that tension, and I never really cared. I was like, dude, I just
so you are like odds with each other, you guys?
Yeah, well, it wasn't. I didn't even know till I ran into him. I mean, I don't know if y'all were ever into the club scene. Do y'all remember Club Mint?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I ran into him once at Club Mint, and he was like in the VIP section or whatever. And he called me over, and he was like, "Hey man, you
tell him of it."
Yeah. He was like, "Hey man, you so and so and so," and I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And I remember, I never forget. He told me, "Well, I've been doing it a lot longer than you."
Somebody's threatened.
And I was like, "Well, man, right on, good." And I was like, "Well, I'm sitting over there, man. I have 2 bottles. If you want to come over, you have a drink, we good." And I just kind of shook his hand and I took off. But it was never really, like I said, man, my thing,
a rivalry.
My thing was just, I love to drink and smoke, and that was my thing. As long as you didn't fuck those 2 things up for me, I was good. But if my weed came up missing or my drink, then it was a problem. But yeah, and I remember it was called the Party Monster, and he had his little logo and the party van. It was good.
And what's happened to the Party Monster?
Google it. See if you can find them. I don't know.
That MySpace page is still active.
Probably.
Probably find on Google.
Yeah, you can probably find them on Google. But yeah, I did that for a while, but like I said, I was real deep into the drinking and stuff, so I never really saw profit. The way I was making the money, I was spending it.
Speaking of putting stuff together, you got a show coming up. What's the whole setup with that?
On
Friday?
On this Friday, we have shout out to Star Calamity and No Variety Records. It's
local label.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty. We're pretty new, pretty local.
Oh, this is something you're involved with.
Well, yeah, we collaborate. We're starting to throw our own shows.
Right.
As I guess
I like how he just says it so calmly, like if it's nothing. I'm starting to do my own shows. We've been trying to put our own show for months. We don't even have ticket prints yet, man. It's a lot of work.
No, I think we started learning like to throw shows since we started like playing ourselves. So we started like organizing like house parties and shit like that.
We've had that conversation before, man, where it's like at some point there's a great comedian named Todd Glass, and he's always talking about like the setup of a performance, like how the seating's arranged, how the lighting's arranged, how you want it to feel for the audience. And it's like at a certain point, like there's a quote from him where he's like, I thought I was crazy because I'd walk into these clubs and it'd be like, no, you need to do this, you need to do, turn that off, get the lights over here like this.
Yeah, we're not at that level yet. Like I don't know.
Well, no, but I mean that general sense of like it's like I know how this should run. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, because we've seen the thing is like you have to play a lot of shit shows.
Yeah.
To know how to like learn how to not do it. You know how it shouldn't be set up or done.
Like for the longest time, you're kind of going like, well, we did this one thing, but I don't really know if that affected it. And then you see it a couple more times and you're oh yeah, we're gonna stop doing that.
Mm-hmm. So. And I think we have thrown maybe like 10 shows already.
Right on.
I'm around that. Well, we threw our first. We threw this show for our release, and
that was a hit. The Caldo Frío ones have been
this show was
fucking hits.
We did this one with this show with collaborating with Bunny Product, David Alejandro.
Yeah, with David.
Yeah. He has a way more experience than us, and we also took this one at Chino Rey.
Right
so pretty much we learned from our fucking releases, you know.
Right on.
And now we're starting to. Actually, we're doing a show at the Review also on the 8th of December.
That one's gonna be big.
Yeah, that show happened because we put some promo up on Instagram, and some band from a band called Volcan from San Antonio, they hit us up and they're like, hey, we would like to like do a show with you guys. Them Volcan and Gio Chamba from Houston, so they're hitting us up and it's like, well, let's make it. You know, like we know how to throw a show. We know how to do it.
And those bands bring people down, so they just decided to link up with us too and make some magic happen.
How's the road gigs going?
Bad.
Which ones?
No, we don't have
on the road.
Road? Why? What do you mean on the road?
Yeah, like have you taken your show on the road?
No.
Well, he can't leave the checkpoint.
I can be.
I get
I wouldn't be living in the
yeah, we've been offered opportunities at South by though. It's really cool, but
we
fucking immigration motherfuckers.
Yeah. We've been invited to play in Seattle, Colorado.
I have another band that I was able to travel with. But
I can't.
Yeah, I have other bands too, and they're of status. But it would be super cool to travel with Caldo Frío or Monster Premio someday.
I mean, I would love to.
Right on.
But
it's rough shit.
Is it? And you don't have to like give the details or anything. But you said I wish I could do it or whatever. Like, but is it something? Is it a possibility? Like, is there something that you can try to do?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, there is.
So I was just trying to figure out that it wasn't like.
I've been trying, but I haven't been able to. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. I completely understand.
Keep trying and trying.
No, because you know that there's those cases where there's people that want to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
but they absolutely can't. I can't.
Well, it feels like
like perfect.
But
example.
I'm just like, where do all these other people, from all over the world?
That's what I was gonna.
How the fuck do they do it?
That's what I was gonna say. Perfect example with a very famous comedian, Joey Diaz. He's been doing comedy for 15 years now, and he can't leave the country. Because if he leaves the country, he's Cuban, so he left Cuba illegally.
Yeah.
He can't leave the country because he doesn't have a passport. He can't get a passport because of his criminal history. So if he leaves the U.S., he can't come back in. Which goes back to the question that you just asked right now. I don't get it because he's a very well-known comedian. Like everybody in the U.S. knows him. So I don't know how people know about his criminal history. He's a famous comedian, yet like nobody's been like knocking on his door.
Yeah,
like,
or just in general, like touring bands from Mexico. I mean, people tour from all over the world. Like, why the fuck can't we cross a fucking checkpoint? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's just got to be so much set up.
I don't know if there's some kind of special permission that is out there for performers or artists.
I have heard that too, man. You might want to look into it. Mm-hmm. I've heard that you can apply for a. This is not the right term. There's a specific term, but it's the closest to it. It's like an entertainer's permit. Like if you can prove that you're an entertainer, like that you do music or comedy or whatever it is, you can get a temporary permit to where you can travel. But when you travel, you have to prove that you were traveling for work. Technically, that you were going to do shows or whatever. There is, I know that there is that. How you go about it, I don't know.
Yeah, it's something we've been discussing recently. We're just like, it just has to happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's so many opportunities. Like we have a bunch of friends upstate, you know, and they're like, just anytime you guys want to come and bring your act or anytime, you know, it's like, we want to, man, but está cabrón.
Well, probably a good idea to concentrate on the digital sales for the time being.
Yeah.
Y'all looked into doing any multimedia video work or I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna be working on a video for my solo rap stuff. We should be doing some stuff too with probably the same guy.
Oh, so you already have somebody that'll do the video?
Yeah. Well, I have a friend who's been wanting to create a video with me. For actually two friends who've been wanting to do a video with me and Caldo Frío also. But I've been wanting to take out release a specific song. I mean, I released it already, but I've been wanting to make it into a video for some time now. And I've got a guy, but now I just need to find the time to get together, and it's gonna be.
That's another like difficult part about it too. Like I don't know. Like, do you work? Like, do you have a 9 to 5?
Yeah, I have an 8 to 4.
8 to 4.
8 to 4.
Gotcha, guy. I like how she got technical about that. Yeah, but it's hard when you have a full-time job.
Like a job,
it's hard. I have an 8 to 5.
I don't. I'm trying to work as least as possible. The least as possible. Because I've been working my adult life a lot, and I realized it wasn't worth it. Like gradually, wait, this is not working now. Why am I working so much? Like working night, work day, play shows, practice.
That's funny, bro.
Work night, work day, play shows. No, I'm not right now. I'm gonna work the least possible. I'm just gonna create as much
we're trying to get to a point where we're gonna start our own.
I'm done with working, man. I'm done with that shit.
I've been trying to tell him because it's difficult for any creator to just kind of like sell your work, you know what I mean? But it's like, dude, if this is something we can do, make large amounts of, it's like there's a lot of people who don't know how to make beats, who don't know how to put music together.
Dude, that's what I was gonna tell you.
And it's something that comes so easily to us that it's just kind of like, dude, let's just sell this shit.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna tell you, man. If you can produce your own music and write your own lyrics. Yeah. You have the biggest advantage ever. Like, when I was doing it, it was difficult because all I knew how to do was rap. Like, all I knew how to do was put pen to paper, lyrics, and that's it. I would have to depend on somebody to actually provide me with beats, with music.
Yeah.
My advantage, I mean, I'm not trying to blow my own horn, but like when I was doing it, I was actually kind of good at it. So there was a lot of people that used to like to fuck with me, like musically and stuff. So I did have producers come in and I was like, hey man, I got some new stuff. You want to hear it out? So I linked up with people that way. Had it not been because of that, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I tried it a couple of times to like make my own beat, and that shit was fucking horrible.
Yeah,
it was offbeat, and you know how you have the little ticker and shit, like because I tried producing a beat once.
What were you using?
I started using Fruity Loops.
Oh,
from Fruity Loops, I went to because I tried sampling. So I went from Fruity Loops to this free software because everything was free back then because we couldn't afford shit. So from Fruity Loops, I moved on to this program called Cool Edit Pro, and it would let you import your own like samples and shit. So I was I was using that.
Yeah.
But it was hard. Like I remember I tried producing a beat once, and one of my friends that was a producer told me, he was like, "Look, dude, you're horrible. Like you're offbeat. He's like, you need to follow the beat, just like you follow it rapping." Like it's the same thing. And I was like, dude, but I just rap because I just follow the music. Like I'm making the music. I can't follow something I'm making. And he's like, no, that you can't. So he put me the little ticker, and he was like, follow the ticker. But I have but I have ADD.
I hate
the
ticker.
Yeah. Like I have ADD.
I have it off all the time.
Yeah. So I have ADD, and I'm like, I have ADD, so that fucked me up even more because I would start paying more attention to the fucking, and then I would kind of, it would fuck with me making the beat or whatever. So he's like, no, dude, this is not gonna work. And then he told me, he was like, I don't think you. He's like, just stick to rapping. And I was like, yeah, man, just finish this shit, yeah. So, but anyway, my point being is, if y'all have the full package to where you can produce your own beats and write your own music, dude.
Yeah.
You have not like you have everything you need to make it happen.
Yeah.
If you don't make it happen,
I've been saying
you just need to be able to travel the world. That's it. That's all we need.
All I want's a boat, a couple $1 million, and freedom to travel.
Freedom to travel. That's all I need. The freedom to travel. That's all we need. That's it.
Yeah, man.
I mean, either way,
I'm happy. I'm happy with my life. The only thing I need is that, like, play out of town shows. That's it.
You must spread the happiness.
I'll be.
And how long you been doing it, man? How old were you when you first? I don't want to say performed, not the performing part. When you first spit your first rap, you're like, oh shit, I made it happen.
I was like 18, 16. I wasn't too young, but I was 16, around 17, 18.
See, and when I actually started rapping, I was 13 going on 14, because I was like, oh shit. And back then I didn't even know how to write. Like my rhymes and my raps were like full of misspelled words and shit, and I was like, how do you spell that?
How I got into rap, because I remember I was listening to some group when I was younger. I was like a teenager, or like 12 years old, and they were so good that I thought, damn, I'm never gonna like no one can ever do rap like this guy. But then a new generation came. There was another fucking rapper, and he was like, everyone was on his dick, like he was like the greatest shit, but it wasn't so good to me. Right? And then on one of his albums, he just puts a beat just by itself, and the name of the name of the song was "Try It If You Can" or something like that, or "Dare to Try It" or something like that. And after that beat, I wrote a song, and I'm like, damn, I think my song is better than this guy's song, and that's why I just started like writing chingos.
And how old are you? Said
that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah,
concept.
But yeah, I know it gave you like the freedom to write a song to some like professional music.
Yeah, that's fucking cool.
How did you start?
Me, like I told Chuy before, like I've always wanted to like collaborate with different people in like hip hop, but it was like there was no connect. There was always something like that was lacking. You know what I mean? So either like the beats were good, but I didn't like the content of the, or the lyrics that this other person was coming up with, or like vice versa. It would be like the beat sucks, but the content's good. It was never like an even kind of thing. But with Chuy, I really enjoyed what he was popping out and what he was saying, and I'm like, man, I can hop on this. And yeah, one day I asked him, and I'm like, hey, dude, if you ever want to like collaborate on something, like I'm down. Like that's just me. Like I love to be in the studio with whoever. Like I like to give everything a try. And
yeah, and by that time, I had been making like music for a long time, but like I had never put something out, you know. But like by this time, I think I have something that I felt like really proud about. You know, I felt like, damn, this shit is good. Like people should hear to listen to this shit.
And
people are gonna fucking like it.
Yeah.
But I had never like tried to put anything like that out because I was concentrating on my other band, Monster Whammy. But we had like 10 tracks, and I was showing it to people, and some people were telling me like, no, but they weren't like really vibing to it, and I was like, damn, this shit is fire, man, come on, you know, like what the fuck was this shit is fire? Yeah. But no, yeah. So some people weren't. There were just like a few people that would tell me like, hey man, this shit is really good. Some people even asked me like, hey man, can I like the beat's fucking the beat sounds good, like can I use it? And I'm like, oh man, I already have like a whole concept for this fucking shit, you know what I mean? I can't give it away.
Right. I was gonna say, I don't know if y'all ever listened to MF Doom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He actually puts out albums under I think it's DJ Doom, where it's Healing Herbs or something like that, but he's got like 11 or 12 volumes where it's just his beats, like it's all instrumental albums and shit like that. And it's almost fascinating being a fan of him, because if you go and listen to those and then listen to the albums, you can see where he's like mixing and matching and kind of using the same beat on a different track, but adding
yeah, because there's a lot you could do with like the same software and the same samples and the same beats, but just put them in different order, and boom, you got like.
What are you working with?
He's the one that kind of like jibble jabbles. I'm the one that
Machine Studio.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Like I can mess with the buttons and make patterns, of course, and make beats and stuff like that. But he's the one that presses record and works on like arrangement, and then
but who actually constructs the beat? Like who?
I've been doing it for I start with the machine.
But I have the ability to, like, I can make my own beats either behind the kid or on the little machine.
That's what I was gonna ask. See, like, because when I tried to do the beat or whatever, I remember I tried doing it on a Korg, the keyboard. That's how you pronounce it,
Korg,
right?
Yeah,
Korg. Is that how you pronounce it?
Korg, Korg.
Yeah. It was a keyboard, and it was like it had its own memory, so you could record on the same keyboard, and then you would just export it to the PC, and then I would flush it out through the software I was telling you, the Cool Edit Pro.
Yeah.
And then, but like you said, I wasn't too savvy with the pattern and the cutting and pasting and put it like this.
Yeah.
So my other friend was the one that would do that on the screen.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I used to do it on the keyboard. Have y'all ever tried doing the drum pads?
Yeah,
like on an MPC.
Yeah, like we do that.
Yeah, I started with an MPC 1000.
Yeah.
And, I remember I sold my accordion to buy an MPC.
That's funny.
Yeah. I was so sad, pero I know.
I'm giving up my corrido life for my rap life, you know.
It felt like that, man. Felt like that. Pero pues I haven't looked back ever since.
From Ramon Ayala to Cypress Hill.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. And you're Mexican?
Yeah.
Cool. You're Mexican.
I mean, from Reynosa.
Nice, and you're from Monterrey. I have family in both, so
same.
Gotcha. We're all Mexican. You too, Sean, right? We'll adopt.
Sure. I was going to say I played around with the drum board or a drum pad maybe about 10 years back and had a lot of fun with it. And like recently, I had to look up trying to look at Fruity Loops, but I don't have a Mac, and then a bunch of other stuff. And I realized very quickly I don't actually know how to use the software. I just like playing with the drum pad. Because at some point we've got to.
Yeah, that's the fun part.
Oh fuck yeah!
The thing is, nowadays there's tutorials for fucking everything.
Yeah.
YouTube, so.
I use.
Oh no, that was the part that convinced me I wasn't wasn't cut out for it. I watched the tutorials. And I was like, nah, I don't.
Shit.
No.
I remember I used to watch like chingos like day and night, just watching tutorials, just getting tips from people, like just getting tips, like just soaking everything up, like. Then I get to a point like, damn, I watched so many tutorials already, like, and I just put everything into work, into like everything you hear from different people, put it into one thing, and it's like it just falls perfectly. Everything that you get like you can listen to like a 10-minute video from that video, like you get like 1 or 2 tips, like they're sprinkled like that. You're like, oh, you made like a mental note, like, oh shit, I haven't tried this, I can try this, and same like. But I would listen. I would listen like to like amounts of videos.
And then something that I tried that I was actually successful at was because I gave my shot at making another beat, but this time I did not get behind the keyboard. I was like, fuck that. I'm not good at that. What I did do was I got with somebody that was actually really savvy with the keyboard, and then what I did was the way we worked it was he showed me sounds, like literally, like he would like this is one sound, and I would start messing with it, and then what I would tell him, I would like, oh, I want that one, and then I was like, I want that one, and then I would choose the sounds, and I was like, all right, dude, like give me a melody, give me something, and then he would
with
put
whatever
what I chose.
That's cool.
And then he was like, he would put it together, and then I was like, yeah, that sounds good. But then I would tell him, I was like, no, wait, that sounds too fast. Can you slow it down? Can you make this part quicker? And then from there, I actually created a beat, like, but he put it together. You know what I'm saying? So I was successful, I guess, producing
like an executive producer.
I guess if that's what you want to call it, but yeah, that's. I mean, it took us literally like 8 hours to create a 4 minute and 18 second. Yeah, because that's another thing about me. I've always been very jealous and I'm very picky with my whatever I create, whether it's writing or whatever. Like it's got to feel right. So if I don't. Like, for example, with that beat, if it didn't sound like I wanted it to sound in my head, like I wouldn't. I was like, no, it's got to be like this. So that's why, like, it took us. Like, I remember, like, we stayed up to like 4 a.m. and we finally got it.
You get sucked in.
Yeah, we finally got it done, and I remember, like, we used to go to Whataburger almost every other night after like recording or whatever. But yeah, I did make a beat like that, and that shit was successful. But me actually sitting behind the keyboard and fuck no. And I remember him yelling at me like from the booth. He was like, "No man, follow the beat. You're not follow." I was like, "I don't know how to fucking follow the beat." He's like, "You're off beat." And I remember him telling me, he's like, "Look, the beat is here. You're right here. You need to get on the beat." You know? And I was like, "I don't know what the fuck you saw." And I was like, no, you do that. I'll stick to writing. So, yeah. That's
Well, I actually started like writing first and then like making. I started writing first and then I started playing like drums, and then after playing drums, I started fucking with the accordion, and that's when I switched from accordion to like the MPC, and from there like I just kept.
Do you still have an MPC?
No, I recently sold it. I don't.
So you don't use it anymore?
No, I don't use it anymore. I mean, it was all fucked up. I wanted to fix it, but I never got the money to fix it. You know what I mean? So I just got rid of it. I wasn't using it or anything.
Gotcha. Have you either one of y'all ever experimented with making a beat with live instruments? Have you ever recorded like you? Yeah.
So we try to. I'm a multi like instrumentalist or whatever. So if he shows me something that he worked on or whatever, or if it's something that we're both working on that we did digitally, we just kind of like we kind of already know like, yo, this is gonna need something real. You know what I mean? Like as much as we can that I can offer from my skills, we try to do it real. Like use real instruments as possible. And if there's something that we can't particularly play, like I don't know, like a saxophone or a horn, like we have a lot of friends and acquaintances that we can bring in and work their magic on there.
Yeah, I think that's why like the first album we did. Well, pretty much it was my brother who like helped me like record the bass and the guitar on the first album. He pretty much did everything, guitar wise and keyboard and like sometimes bass.
Right on.
And all that. Yeah, my other brother Ricardo.
Shit. I'm trying to remember. I think the only time I've seen y'all perform under Caldo Frío was that one show up on the rooftop. But yeah, I don't want to say y'all were using the pre-recorded sound. Have y'all tried doing it the Caldo Frío bits live with the drum kit and all that?
There's something I would love to do. That was actually that was something I've been wanting to do for the longest time. But it's so difficult. Like to get other people involved into the project, man. It's hard because everyone's running around like doing their own stuff and things. So
yeah,
it's hard. But that's one of my goals. Like,
I think it's a cool idea. Like I said, in a perfect world where things just kind of come together. But I'm also really lazy. There's like so Caldo Frío is the only group where I don't have to haul any instruments.
Right.
We just bring like a little USB and ourselves, and it's like. This is fucking awesome.
Makes
and if we
easier.
if we get paid, we can split that. You know what I mean? So in my head, I'm just kind of like, oh, we had a bunch of like other musicians. Like, yeah, it might sound cooler. But it's like I'm gonna have to help people with their instruments because that's just like how I am. I like to help out. Like I'm not gonna just leave the drummer to carry shit by himself.
Right.
It's like I already do that. Like I don't want to do more of that. Like this is like my only project where I don't have to do shit. Like but just show up and perform.
That's always great.
So it's really fucking nice, actually.
When you got multiple things going, there's got to be at least one of them that's at least kind of easy.
Yeah, no, and it's cool because like with the music, it's like it's pre-recorded, so there's not gonna be any fuck ups. No, like.
Yeah, comparison being like a drummer and an MC is way easier to be a fucking MC. Just way easier.
Yeah, because like your job is just to like show up.
You just a pretty face.
Yeah, and one night I could move my drum set like just for one show, maybe about like 7 to 8 times from tearing down from my house to moving.
Yeah, to be a drummer, you really have to love it. Man.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, really bad.
Yeah.
Right on. So, what's y'all's take, positive or negative, on the state of the scene at the moment down here?
It's divided as fuck.
Yeah, I think it's
divided. It's so horrible. It's an apocalypse, man.
I just think it's just trying to find its center.
There's no center.
For a good while, there was a bunch of venues that we could all participate at, but just they started just kind of shrinking and. Just like different dramas with different.
I mean, the music is there and the bands are fucking amazing.
Yeah. The music. There's a lot
musicians.
Of people. There's
singles of people like playing out of town shows already.
But yeah, we're just
a lot of bands that are growing. They're becoming like spreading their wings out of the valley and shit like that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of like newcomer bands that are fucking amazing. That's really really good.
Pop up. But even though it's kind of been rocky, like we've tried to just kind of keep it going. We're always pretty active and just whether it's a good turnout, bad turnout, like hey, we got to go do our thing, you know. So
I'll take that as a positive response.
Yeah, like until
it's weird. It's weird because it's so divided, but at the same time, it's so good. It's like it's so divided, but it's so good. So,
but what exactly do you mean by divided? Like, so explain.
Oh, divided is like there's like little cliques that sometimes even happens that they shit on people's events or shows, stuff like that. Divided like that. I think it should become really ugly. But we have to keep like a positive attitude and like just me personally, I try to support everyone and everything they're doing, even if they're not supporting you or they're trying to like undercut you or doing things to, you know what I mean,
right,
to damage you or anything like that. And it's hard, but I think that for me personally that I can play out of time, I cannot get out of the valley. So what I'm trying to do personally is like trying to make the scene grow as much as possible.
I get you, man.
There's no,
that's something the comics run up against because it's trying to make money out of town doing comedy is damn near impossible. And so it's kind of like, well, we have to build up the local scene. There is no option.
The local scene. There's no other way out.
Well, it's a shame. Again, I'll take it as a positive note, man. I think a little bit of chaos every once in a while helps people figure out what it is.
Yeah, and it's good. What hurts me the most is when like fucking bands, the really band that I really like, they break up. Local band that I fucking really love, it happens.
There was some instrumental band I caught about maybe a year and a half, 2 years back. Just walked into the Thirsty Monkey on a Sunday night, and they were up there jamming. Listened to them for about 15 minutes before I realized they didn't even have any lyrics. They didn't even have a mic set up. They were just like some Frank Zappa. Yeah. And 6 months later, I went looking. I was like, what was that name of that band? And I went looking. Their social media was shut down.
Yeah, it happens, man. It happens when
it's like, damn, I had hope, man. Like it was
you have groups, you have a lot of people, you have a lot of like.
That's why it's important to go check out the scene, check out what's out there before just.
And it's sadder when they're so good, but they never record anything.
Oh, that's the worst.
They never get to record.
I've been through that a couple times, and it like. I don't want to get into it.
I have a friend. Christopher Torres, the video that I sent you.
Vaguely, man.
Well, I have a friend, Chris Torres. But he plays rock. Mm-hmm. He's like a rock singer, but he has these crazy songs. Like his lyrics are like real crazy, and I like it. Like I like it a lot. But he hasn't recorded anything, and he has a shitload of material, a shitload of material, just ready to.
But if that's like a solo band, like he can always record later, you know. But what I mean is whenever there's like bands and they have songs together as a group, but they come apart and
they never make it.
No one gets to record that song ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even if you get somebody that say it was their song and they bring in other musicians to play it, it's not going to be the same composition.
No, that shit really pisses me off, like so bad.
Yeah, and most of the time they just don't really like record that song anymore. Like they don't play it or anything like that. I've seen it, like there's kind of that kind of respect down here also. Like if people come together to make a song and then they go apart, they just forget about that song. Just work on something else.
Even if you know the band's gonna break up, record the damn songs.
Yeah.
Get your ass in the studio.
But it's hard, man. It's hard. Like to record a band, it's hard. It's expensive. Like a hip hop thing, it's so easy. That's why we have like 3 hip hop albums and just one as a band because it's expensive.
Where do y'all record?
This album, the band album, we record at it's called Alubel Studio. It's a pretty nice, pretty cool studio.
Really nice studio.
Where is it? In McCann?
Yeah,
like on First Street or Second Street?
First. Is it right behind the
like that area of McAllen where all the hospitals are?
The hospitals, yeah.
It's like literally some of the oldest parts of McAllen.
Yeah, around here, I think.
Yeah. So y'all, because. Well, I don't think it's there anymore. I haven't been down that route in a while, but when this was way back in the day, we used to record in Edinburgh. The studio was called the Player's Choice.
Nice.
Y'all ever heard of it? No. Yeah, it was right. No, you know what? Now that I think about it, it's not there anymore. It's a boxing gym now. It was right across. Well, not right across, but like diagonally from the UTRGV. It was it's a boxing gym now, but it used to be the Player's Choice. That's where we recorded. I mean, we recorded like the rough drafts at my friend's house.
Nice.
Like literally in the bathroom. Literally, yeah. We had this set up there in the bathroom or whatever.
I'm not too picky.
And
recording.
Yeah, and then after we were like, you know what, this is the way we're gonna record it, we would hit up the studio because I don't know how it is now, but when we were doing it, they would rent out blocks So like you would have to buy like a block of like 4 hours, and a lot of people think that like 4 hours is a long time, but when you're going to record and lay vocals and edit,
Well, you're not ready.
that shit like it flies by.
Yeah.
So we would rent out blocks.
I can't
of
remember
four.
whose quote that is, but somebody back in the 70s was producer's job is making sure that everybody gets in the studio and knows what the fuck they're supposed to do.
Yeah, there's nothing more that fucking tears my ass apart than like going into a studio like and people are already just like I want to blow my head off. Like,
And
What are we supposed to do?
And then
I
hear of these like big artists. Like I remember one time, I think it was Dr. Dre. He went into a studio. He had 3 different artists, and this was back like in the 90s. And they were supposed to be recording, and because everybody chose to get drunk and high in the studio, that one day they ran up the bill to like $200,000.
yeah,
And nothing was recorded, and he had to pay for it.
fuck that.
So he, of course, he fired him.
All right, this feels a little bit unprofessional, but I got to duck out to the restroom real quick.
Okay, cool.
All right.
We'll get you a colostomy bag next time.
Are we pausing the?
No.
Oh, okay.
Actually, after y'all, I need to go too.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's the beautiful thing about having a co-host, because we can, if one leaves, we can quarterback it.
Tag team.
Yeah. So yeah, like when we would record or whatever, it was like a block of 4 hours. We would go in there. But what I would always do, like you said, as far as me, because all I did was rap, I made sure that my 16 bars or whatever was like that's what I was gonna record, and I made sure that I had it down.
Yeah.
So like the most I would take tops was like 3 takes. 3 takes, and I would have it. I would have it down, because then like you would go in there and sometimes people didn't know who was doing what, like who's got the beat.
Oh my
Somebody
God.
forgot their microphone and
No, dude, that shit.
yes.
No, it makes my blood boil straight up. Like,
So
Yeah, like I started recording myself with like an 8 tracker. So I knew that like you have to like at least know a song like perfectly to be able to like lay it down.
Yeah. And I mean, today I think it's a lot easier, because today, like, I don't know. Have y'all ever used Pro Tools?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if you know, but Pro Tools to this day, since like the 90s, I think. Or maybe the 2000s at the turn of the century, but it's been the industry standard. Like everybody in the industry uses Pro Tools. So what I'm saying is, like with that, at least now, like if you have somebody that's like really shitty, like myself, like if they don't know the beat, or if they need help, kind of being parallel with the beat or whatever, like with Pro Tools, you can go in there, lay down the vocals, and even if they're kind of shaky, with that, your producer and your engineer can kind of go in there and fuck with it and mechanically fix it. But back in the day, when you didn't have none of that shit, it's like you had to get it right. If not, it was delete and try it again.
do it again, yeah.
Delete and try it again. So what's y'all's process like? Do y'all do separate takes, or like do you go in there and do it all in one take?
I personally like to do it like everything in one take, but sometimes it's not possible, and sometimes even like the person who's recording you like tells you like maybe like if you do it in parts. But I personally I would prefer to do it like everything on
yeah, I mean,
take.
if it all sounds good in one take, like, why not? I'm a super perfectionist when it comes to the studio.
But it's better to not do it in one take sometimes.
I mean, if it's something that's gonna be recorded forever. Like, it's not gonna.
I want to go back to that point. You said it's better not to do it in one take. I'm curious why.
But if you're not prepared, like if you're not prepared, it's better. Like
Well, that's understandable. But I was kind of more talking from the point that when you got your 16 down. I don't know. I have a feeling that I'm more like you. as far as your approach, because I always like I wrote first I wrote and I wrote it over till I got it written the way I wanted it. After I got it written the way I wanted it, I would recite the words like without music. I would recite them so I can tattoo them in my brain so that I could have the lyrics down, because once I had the lyrics down, I felt that it gave me the freedom to play around with the 16 bars of music. So I can speed it up, slow it down, higher my tone, lower my tone, but because I got to memorize. So that's what I was saying. I was talking from the point, like, when you know that you have those 16 down for sure, then you can really go in there and knock it out in one take.
Yeah, I just feel like there's always room for improvement. Like, you could ask Chuy, I'm always on his case. Like, if he might be able to do the whole thing once, but just because you got through the lyrics perfectly, does that, like, is there consistency? Is there a good flow? You know what I mean? Is there something you could do a little bit better here? Is there a word you can emphasize on? Stuff like that. I have a really good ear
the
for.
beautiful thing about that, the beautiful thing about what you're saying is that at least now, today, like I was telling you earlier, you don't have to go back and delete everything and then record.
Yeah.
Now you can literally go back and pinpoint. It's like, hey, bro, I don't like how you said that. Can you say it differently? So you can literally go back and isolate that word or that phrase, cut it out. You punch your time. I don't know if you still call it that. Back then we used to call it punching. Yeah. You punch your time and they're like, okay, Chuy, from here, you're gonna, I want you to do it again.
Yeah.
So
if it's necessary, and you can just tell. It's like, did you feel it? Did you feel it? Were you feeling it? Were you really projecting?
Sometimes like with myself as well. And again, when I was doing it, it was barely like getting off the ground. But I would tell the guy that was recording me. Sometimes I would tell him, I was like, hey man, I don't like the way I said that. Can you take me back to where I said this, and so I can like do it over? Yeah. And sometimes he would have a problem because he wasn't used to the artist telling him. He's like, I'm not used to that, bro. I'm used to like doing shit.
I'm not used to people telling me shit, bro.
I'm not used to people telling me. Yeah. And I was like, bro, it's because sometimes like the shit doesn't come out like. His thing was that he wouldn't tell me anything. Yeah. He wouldn't tell me, hey man, can you like say that differently? Like he wasn't producing my track. Yeah. He was literally just recording it. Yeah. So
that's one of the things that it's really good with the Freddy Harper, the one that helped us produce this album. Because he will tell me, even one time he told me like, it's not sounding good. Like you can like go back home, study it for a week, and come next week so you can have it down. Like,
so it's different process. So when it comes to when I'm playing with a band and we're gonna record. And we're gonna record with a band. When it comes to the instruments, I have to fucking know what I'm doing. Like, hands down. Like, there's no, why even be there if you don't know what the fuck you're doing? Yeah. But when it comes to rapping, a lot of the times, like, sometimes we're just like going in there and I'm writing lyrics in the studio, so it's very different. Sometimes I'm not prepared at all, but I'm also not really that worried about it, and we just like write something super quick, do it over a couple times until it feels right, Yeah. So, but for sure, when it comes to live or the music recording, like music, like actually recording music, like I have to fucking know what the fuck I'm doing, like for sure. There's no way around it. Yeah.
Okay. And like I was saying, it's difficult when you really don't have that producer support, because sometimes when you're in the booth and you have your headsets, like you
want someone to tell you, hey.
Not only that, but it's because us as artists, we're not hearing from the outside, so we might not be able to hear something that somebody else is. So if you don't hear it, it's like you think it's great. Yeah. So but that's a producer's job to like listen from the outside and be like, hey bro, that can you do it like this or whatever. And when you don't have that, it like kind of, it makes it difficult.
Yeah. And I feel really lucky because I have like a really fucking good ear. Like it's almost painfully good, but I think it's a good thing because I'm able to actually like stop myself. I can actually catch some stuff that other people don't catch, you know what I mean? And just kind of like, you know, you go back and you're like, oh yeah, dude, you're right. That does sound fucking weird. You know what it is? And I'm like, wait.
And with my other friend, that after I got with my second friend, that he was actually producing me, like it took me a while to get used to him, because with him it was more of he was really like this. He's like, no, bro, that word, can you enunciate it like that? And I was like, what the fuck enunciate? Yeah, I was like, what the fuck you mean? It's like, that's the way I sound. No, announce it. So then I would go back and I would be like, hit him with the ball. And he's like, no. And I need you to enunciate. And we would literally be there like for 10 minutes on like half a bar. And he would be like, no, I need you to enunciate, because if you don't enunciate, and he would tell me, he would give me the breakdown. He was like, it's because what I see is that this word rhymes with this one, and then you end the rhyme here. Yeah. So I think it'd be badass if you have a triple rhyme within one bar. Yeah. If you don't enunciate, and then he would tell me, if you don't enunciate this word, it's not gonna rhyme all the way through. And then I was like, oh,
I'm really good at catching like patterns and stuff like that.
And with the other dude, like he was just record. He would just hit record and like that was it.
Because it could look good on paper, you know what I mean? Like, hey, like this rhyme, but when it comes down to it, you know what I mean? You have to also kind of be like, play with those sounds and really experiment. Like, what's the most effective way to fucking like really get this song like jamming? You know what I mean? Like, vibe it. You gotta really vibe it.
Yeah, exactly. And I was gonna say you have to put your touch, your vibe into your feeling, because if you don't mean, this is why I have a problem, and I've always had a problem. And if y'all use them, I from what y'all been saying, I doubt it, but I really have a problem with ghostwriters, because I feel that if it's something like you didn't write it,
that's a triggering word, man. That's a triggering word.
I just feel like you're expressing somebody else's feelings, like that's not you, you know what I'm saying? That's why with everything, that's why I was also very jealous with my lyrics. Like I would not let anybody tell me like, let me write this word. No, like I had to write everything. I had to, like, it had to come from me. Now that I do comedy, I'm the same thing with my material. Like I have to write. Like Sean has told me before, he's like, hey man, like you wrote this bit like this and then you said it. I think that if you were to say it like this, like it would give you a better reaction. That type of advice.
No, that's constructive.
I take it, because he's not telling me to rewrite my joke. No, he's just telling me to deliver it differently. I don't have a problem with that. That's kind of like what a producer does when you're doing music. But I don't like when people, and then I've had people in the audience come up after me after the show and be like, I feel you shouldn't have said that. Don't say that anymore. That, like, don't ever tell me that, because it's not gonna go well. It's definitely not gonna go well. So
I'm gonna say that joke and three more just like
that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a. But I mean, anybody giving, like you're saying, giving constructive criticism and being like, look, you know what, maybe you can, and the advice that I still remember the advice that he gave me on that the wheelchair joke. He gave me advice on a wheelchair joke that I had, and he told me, he was like, look, dude, if you say like this, it's gonna kind of trigger as a surprise, so I think the laugh will be bigger. The next week I tried it like he told me, and it killed. I was like, oh shit, it worked.
Yeah, just a little trick.
You had to enunciate.
You had to enunciate it, man.
Like, what'd you say?
No, I think it's really important to be open to that kind of stuff. Not necessarily like I'm always asking for help. Like there's one thing that I like about myself as an artist is like, give me criticism. Like, and I like to ask people for help. Like, hey, help me finish this lyric, or I know this sounds good, but I want it to sound better. Like, you know what I mean? I don't mind listening to other people's opinions. And
and it's sometimes it's good to surround yourself with people like who are super critical of your, even like, especially if you're not super critical about your like art or anything you're doing. It's very like, because personally it gives me some freedom because like I don't like to beat myself down like that too much. But you get someone who's doing it. Like for example, in my personal case, our bass player Art. He's the one who's always like telling us like, no, this shit is wrong, like shit is wrong, it's wrong, it's bad, it sounds awful. And I'm like, wait. And he
shocked. Art is such a quiet lad.
Yeah. No, actually, I would send him some beats, and he would tell me like, no, you could do this different, not this, blah 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 blah. So it's a lot of his input is on like the second album that we did, and he's still doing stuff like that with our band.
The resources are there, you know what I mean? Just I don't think there's anything wrong with asking for a little help.
I think you said something that I think a lot of people don't pay enough credence to. You're talking about doing the live performance. Like, I got to know what I'm doing. I think if you're doing a collaborative effort, you need several people that feel that passionately about the different aspects of it. So it's like, you know what? I'm not the best behind the soundboard, but Jerry over here can do, let him get in there, or something along those lines. I mean, that way you can actually, because if you're having to, run around, do everything, and
it opens up the space.
It's impossible
to be involved and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's great if you can do the jack of all trades type of thing where it's like, okay.
Yeah, I know, but hey, I know when to fucking like sit the fuck down too. You know what I mean? Like, this is not my strong point, or I can just.
Like you said, you play several instruments, so it's like, I already got all these skills. What, you want me more? Like, what the hell? Fuck off. Do I got to do the legal and the financial as well? What the hell? I mean, that's one thing that I think a lot of the artists down here are having problems with. Like you said, like you're trying to like work through the process of, okay, how do we get the barriers out of the way? And when it comes to the money, when it comes to some of the...
Sometimes you don't even want to think about it, man. Like, it's like a huge mountain you need to climb that, like, man, I'm just going to keep just doing music and ignore this shit.
I can't even count how many times
I feel like I do that already.
Like, the phrase contract comes up in a conversation, and all of a sudden you get blank looks from... And it's like, have you not considered the fact that you might need to, like, protect your ass on some level with some of this shit? You know what I mean? Even if you're dealing with a venue owner and, it's one thing to have a nice little conversation and a handshake, but at the end of the day, like, can we get this on paper with a signature?
Yeah.
So, like, first of all, like, people think it makes it more tense, which I think is part of the problem with the artists. It's like, I don't want to have the awkward conversation. It's like, if you're not having the awkward conversation, then it's going to continue to be awkward. You know what I mean? Like, if you have a contract, you can go and like, no, dude, right here it says that, you got to give us this much money beforehand, or, we're doing the show like this, we have this much time, whatever it is, little aspects. And it makes things so much easier because you don't have to argue about it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, even when it comes to like finance, man, like I'm sure y'all have had to deal with this with the bands. Like, you're talking about like, music that doesn't get recorded because everybody breaks up. But then you have to deal with, okay, we do have music recorded. Well, who gets what share? We got 150 at the end of the night.
It's hard because like you as a creative, you don't really think about all or even want to go there. But somebody needs to be a treasure, and stuff like that.
Yeah, it gets to the point where like, if you want to keep doing it, like, you have to like think about the stuff. You know what I mean? Like, if you wanna like depend, like for me, like right now, I'm like fuck work. I'm just gonna do more art. Fuck work. I'm just gonna work with music. But like, you have to where you want to do that. You have to think like, well.
Yeah. And I think in general also like there's discussions about getting off the grid. Like nobody likes social media sucks, but as an artist, any kind of artist, like
you don't
that's
have
like
a choice.
Key to fucking success.
It's like personally, I've been hating Facebook so much. Like the past 6-4 months, and I have like I forced myself to post on Facebook. And whatever I post is like it comes across as like really hating hating the world. Like fuck everyone. Like I have to post something.
Just occasionally open the door and throw a Molotov in.
I'll be back tomorrow. Another post.
Same time next week, guys.
No, and it's the thing like when you're like trying to like do music, when you're trying to be a rapper, like you have to constantly be in contact with people.
Yeah, your audience,
you have to constantly be like, you know what I mean? See, but
I want to push back on that just a little bit. I get it because of the age where we live in. Like everything is run by social media. So you keep saying you have to be in contact with your people. I just feel like you when you're an artist, especially like you're saying, like it pisses you off. Like I gotta post and I gotta go on here and I gotta be on this social media page. But like I really don't feel that you really have to be on it like that when your craft, your work is that good. Because if you put it out there and like you said earlier, it's fire and it spreads, like people are gonna pick it up and listen to it regardless.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is the only thing I'm trying to point out is don't beat yourself up over it so much, because I feel that like it you shouldn't have to be like I have to do it on social media. The reason that I say that is because back then, how did people do it with no social media? How did people get famous without social media? And if you really think about it and look at it, people that got famous without social media were actually good. And you know why they were good? Because their fucking music was good. The dumbass rappers that are out now, that are famous now, they got famous because they got 1 million hits on YouTube. I'm sorry, there's a lot of them that are like that, and their music is shit. That's why I don't listen to today's hip hop. When I listen to hip hop, it's like independent, or it's underground, or I still listen to a lot of old stuff like Tech Nine and stuff like that.
I think we've touched on this a couple times before, man. But because of like the prolific, I mean, there are more people doing more things on more platforms at this point.
It's saturated, so yeah, you do have to kind of be like,
there's more really great music available, and there's more just garbage. And so, you take the good with the bad, I guess. But the option to get 1 million views and likes on Facebook or YouTube and have that blow up your career, I mean, shit, man. There's a reason we all know Justin Bieber's name, and it ain't because of his music.
Yeah, but and that's a perfect example. It is but then that's a question to y'all. Do y'all want to be famous because of like the Justin Bieber method, or do you actually want to be known because you actually make dope music?
I like most personally. I like the creative process. Yeah. Everything that happens after that, it's like forcing myself to it. Like I forcing myself to it.
I have no expectations or goals. I know it sounds really bad, but like, yeah, it's just kind of whatever happens from the creative part is just what happens.
No, and that's cool, and I respect that about you both, because I can see, like I'm sitting across from you, and I can honestly see that y'all are doing it because you love the art. And that's what I feel. Me and Sean have gone back and forth with this conversation plenty of times. Like, I feel that it's because people don't love the art and they love the money. Mm-hmm. So they're chasing the money. They're chasing the money, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you really love the art, like you're saying, I do it because I love it. And if money comes, well then it comes. Yeah. But if it doesn't come,
I would still do it anyway.
Yeah, I would still do it. And you know what new cat, and that's why I respect them a lot. I don't know, maybe y'all listen to him, but Kendrick Lamar said those exact same words. He's like, and this dude blew up and he's a millionaire, but he's like, I never chased the money. I did it because I love making music and I love rapping. I could rap day and night. Like that's what I like to do. And the way he so casually says it, he's like, the money is just like an accessory. It's nice. And he literally said, he was talking to an interviewer, and he literally said, I could do away with the money. And then the interview turned around and he was like, well, goddamn, well, let me have it. But yeah, he was like, I'm into the creative, the writing, the making, like that. Oh, and he also said that he was very turned off by to what you were saying. He was very turned off by the business side of it. They were like, what do you hate about the industry the most? And he said that it's so corporate.
Yeah.
Like as soon as the legal, the lawyer, the papers come in, sign this, do that, you can't do this if you don't do this. I hate that. Like that kills my creativity.
Yeah.
Like that's why I don't like dealing with because he's off of an independent label, and he's like, that's why I let he has a manager, and he's like, that's why I had to get him, because it's only him and a manager.
Yeah.
So he's like, and if it wasn't because of the business side, I wouldn't have a manager. But I just got a manager because like I let him deal with all that.
That's why so many artists do get screwed in that way, is because they don't want to. You don't want to deal with the money side of it or the business, and it's like I'll let my brother take care of it or something like that, and it's like next thing you know the whole Dane Cook scenario where he runs off with a couple $1 million. Like okay, maybe.
Then Juanito took off to some resort and with a whole bunch of money you left broke and shit. How the fuck did that happen? Well, you left your manager run off with it, so
I'm only paying him $20,000 a year. How's he wearing suits?
Yeah.
I feel like most people have their sights set on like, making it big and getting into a label. It's just like, dude, you could already start your own label.
Exactly,
you know what I mean? Like you can do it yourself.
Like that's what a lot of people don't
without getting dicked over.
Yeah, like they don't realize that you don't need a label. The big people that have been doing it for years, like the Jay-Z's, the Ludacris's, they're telling you now, like, you have no need for a major label. If you have a microphone, a laptop computer, and an internet connection, that is your major. Like that is your major label. He's like, you have distribution at your fingertips.
Yeah,
and it's true. Like you like the only thing that we, even us as comedians, that we need to focus on is building our following. If you have a strong, loyal following, that's all you need. You get on your computer, you let them know, hey, Friday the 13th, I'm dropping this album. If they love you and if they're loyal and if you're loyal to them, that shit is going to sell like hotcakes. My perfect example of the most respected independent grind that I have with an artist is Tech Nine. Tech Nine, since he started, I don't know if y'all know who he is, Tech Nine. Oh. Yeah. Since he started independent. Until this day, this dude, like he's ready, he's got money, right? He's got a lot of money. But till this day, even though he has a lot of money, this dude still does everything himself. He does his own promotion. He does his own booking.
If you want it done right.
Yeah, exactly. He does his own booking. He does his own. He puts on his own shows. He's put on his own festivals. Like he's taking these shows.
That is a cool one there.
Yeah, like he's taking these shows on the road, and then they've asked him. It's like,
just to be clear, for anyone listening that's not familiar with Tech Nine, that's not some rainbow and fucking unicorn shit. Like that motherfucker lost a lot of money along the way, getting fucked over by promoters and venues.
And that's why he decided, again, he early on in his career, he chose to trust a manager, and he was fucked over so many times. So he finally realized, you know what, I can do this shit. It's more work, but I can do this shit myself. And then they asked him, I was like, well, what is the best thing about being independent? And he's like, the best thing is the freedom that I have. Nobody tells me what to do. And once the return profit comes back, that fat check,
I keep it.
I keep all of it, and I ain't gotta share with nobody. You know what I'm saying? Nobody sticks their hands in. Yeah. The only ones that to this day stick their hands in my pocket is my ex-wife and the IRS.
That's fine.
That's about it.
You can get away from that.
Yeah, but
I was making this example on the last episode we did where we were talking to a guy that does DJ for one of the local stations, and it's basically you lose that illusion of like, oh, this is so hard, I can't do it. Like you said, you can run your own studio. With this thing right here, if we just changed the layout a little bit and I had the laptop over here and I could control everything, we could be doing overlays, playing videos, have a little, graphic, animation, all that shit. but it goes back to you put too many things on your plate and you're not going to be able to concentrate on any of it successfully. That's a cop out for the viewers at home. This could look prettier, but it won't. But yeah. Well, shit. All right. We've had the albums out here, and y'all keep referencing them. What albums do y'all have out? Are they either under Monster Bohemio or under Caldo Frío?
We only have one Monster Bohemio album. Okay. Our first album, the one that we dropped last.
Design.
Yeah.
All of them except
Right on. Freddy, while you're up, you want to show that to the camera? Don't trip, brother. Right on. And that one's available for digital download, right?
Yeah, all of them are.
all the platforms.
Where can they find y'all at?
Whatever your favorite platform is. That's where.
Google. Yeah, Google, Spotify, Bandcamp,
iTunes, probably, right? We're on iTunes yet?
iTunes,
We're on
iTunes, even YouTube. You want to YouTube it too?
Whatever you like.
SoundCloud, everything.
It was cool.
Right on.
It says Caldo Frío. Who designed this one?
I designed all of them. I designed all of them except for this one. He made this one.
I like the cover.
It doesn't look as pretty, but doesn't look as pretty, but it's here. It's here.
That's Chuy's nephew.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
This is a real.
He looks. He looks exactly like it's like a miniature version of.
Yeah,
Chuy.
They took him to New York. Never been there. He was.
I like this.
Right on. And you were saying you're kind of gearing up right now to get back in the studio and put something together.
Yeah, well,
it's the right time. It's like I can feel the energy. It's just everything. It's like right now that I'm not working at all, I have so much time. So I'm only working like 2 hours a week. So it's nothing.
yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, that's the whole thing some people don't get. They kind of romanticize the whole starving artist thing. And it's like, a lot of times it's by choice.
Yeah.
It's like, do I have food in the refrigerator or enough time to work on this solo?
Yeah, I checked. And it worked better for me because like I'm losing a lot of weight, not having a car and having to walk everywhere and not having like money for food. It works out for me. I'm a little crazy, but
I got a buddy of mine in San Antonio. He's about that big around and eats candy on a daily basis.
Huh?
I said I got a buddy of mine in San Antonio. He has to take the bus, walk around everywhere. He's about that big around and eats candy on a daily basis. And I'm pretty sure like the pedestrian lifestyle is the only thing that's keeping him from dying of diabetes at this point.
Same here, man.
Hey, I would say we wait till Freddy gets back to do the outros and everything. But what are y'all working on as far as you said you got some solo stuff going on? What's anything coming up on the schedule?
I've been trying to get something done. So I've only got one song so far, but I've been writing content for my other stuff. But so a studio that I was supposed to go record at, it's just recently shut down, so that's going to be postponed for a minute. But I think he's going to try to help me a little bit. We made some beats the other day, and we got together with another friend to make some stuff. So hopefully when I get some time, we'll be making some more of that, and we'll see what we use for this, what we can use for that, what can be sold, because
the cool thing about having a lot of time for art, not worrying about life. The cool thing about not having kids, that's what I'm saying, not having to have a fucking job, it's that
the benefits of irresponsibility.
Yeah, the benefits of responsibility are you get so much time to make art. Like you make amounts of it, and then you decide like what the fuck to do with it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do have to work. But say like this shit does take off, or like people like start taking interest in or more interest in buying some music from us, I'll fucking drop it.
Yeah, and like throughout the past 2-3 years that we were like making music and putting albums out, people have been telling me like, hey, like maybe like you want sell some of your music. But I've always been like super like he said, like super jealous about my music. And like, I don't know, man. Like I don't have time to work on my music. When I have time, like I'm gonna keep it for myself. Right. You know what I mean? But now, like if you can make,
I literally hooked him up with like it took one gig for him to be like, all right, you know, like.
But if you can make music like 24/7, like you have enough like for yourself and just to everyone else, feed all the mouths.
Yeah, I mean that's the eventual goal. You hope, man.
And we can fuck around like dude all day, like fucking.
It's like you working on something that's not even work. It's like, oh man, the fucking concept is fucking amazing. It's
yeah. Well, going back to it, I mean that's the whole collaborative thing. Is you want the passion to be there across the board with as many heads as possible.
And if you have the, like I said, the most important thing is like we're lucky that or whatever it is to have that ability. You know what I mean? Like he's good at messing with the program. I'm good at playing just about everything. He's got a really good style. I'm really good at whatever you know what I mean? So just kind of combining everything and refining, and after all the finishing touches, it's like we can do it. Fucking just
man, we've been doing it for the 10 years that we need to do it to be like good enough to sell it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think that's the one.
We have 10,000 hours in it.
I didn't throw that into the conversation, but when Freddy was talking about, you know, you got these guys that have been out there, you know, grinding and doing these shows for a long time without the major backing of business money. What they do have at the end of that, when they do either break in or at least find the audience, is the time put in. I mean, even the shit shows, you walk away from them, you know, writing notes down, going, all right, we're going to do this better next time. There's going to be a little more polish on this motherfucker when we display this. No, that's great. You got anything going on the side burners, Ben? I mean, since you got so much free time.
Just making music. Just working on music and writing lyrics for now. That's it.
It's pretty fucking cool. I'm jealous. Like I do have to work. I recently just started working because I dropped out of school to start my own projects. Well, actually, I am working on some stuff. So I'm in the process of like building a skate park / like.
Yeah, that's
it's kind of a big deal. Well, I've been working on this. I've been really low key about it for a long time, but it's gonna come out. It's gonna I'm gonna hit it.
Want to talk about it by all means?
Oh yeah. So yeah, I've been working on opening up a skate park here in McAllen. I'm looking into the west side of McAllen. Don't know exactly. But I've been organizing it with a bunch of people for the past maybe like 4 years or so. But I dropped out of school for it because it was just taking up too much of my time. I kept telling myself, you know, I'm not gonna plunge into it until I graduate, so I can like 100% focus. It's really hard for me outside of like when I'm in school. It's like I can barely get through that. Like I have to. School takes up all of my fucking headspace, and my energy. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, ugh, no, it's never. And
fuck
dude,
school.
Yeah, fuck school, dude. No, and I only had like
kids don't go to school. Don't. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap.
The people who need it, need it. But no, I've always since for all of time, school has never been my fucking thing, and I just feel like it's just been trying to crush my creativity, and somehow I'm still alive. Like it's pretty cool because I've been like fighting it this whole fucking time.
You're studying art,
but until very
creativity.
Just walking out the door going, "You didn't get me, you bastards."
Yeah, but very recently. It was very recent. This happening. It was like less than like maybe like four weeks ago, maybe less than maybe a month since I've been out. But I feel like I'm 29. I'm gonna be 30 soon, and I feel like it's kind of sad to say, maybe a little extreme. But I'm like, whoa, feel like I'm barely starting to fucking live, like without that burden of school. Like, and I've had a great life, don't get me wrong. That's what I'm saying. It sounds very dramatic, but it's such a stress relief. Like the way he feels about not working and not doing that's pretty much how I feel. Even though I do have a job or whatever, like not being in school is like the best fucking decision I ever fucking made.
You burn out after a while. Like I've said, I've been working for a long time.
My whole life I've been
night and day,
like,
working night and day for a long time. And I'm like, it's not worth it.
A lot of people seem to think maturity is like figuring out how to play the game better. And I think what it really is for most of us is figuring out how to switch the paradigm. So it's like you got a different model because even you talking about burnout, there are people that are doing creative work and it's just the way they're going about it is burning themselves out. And it's sad to see. I mean, there's whole studies on it now as far as like, I don't know if you're all familiar with like Twitch or even some of the YouTube community where, you know, they're having to put out a video every day, or with the Twitch guys, they're, you know, doing 8-hour streams on a, you know, maybe either every day or every other day.
That's so much, man.
Maybe, but if it's work that doesn't feel like work, you know what I mean? It's just, if it's work that you
That's what I mean as far as the model that you have, because if you structure it and so if you're doing something, even if you're doing the thing, it's like, no, I really want to do this, but you're going about it in such a way that you're incentivizing yourself to do things that are not helpful or not productive or efficient. Then yeah, you don't necessarily have to change what you're doing, but you got to change the way you're looking at it so that you are doing more of the stuff that is productive and less of the stuff that's not.
You're more passionate about.
Or at some point you realize you need to bring on, you know, a collaborative member and be like, hey, I need you to do some stuff. You know?
Yeah.
So that's one of the beautiful things about doing the podcast is we've had several people kind of come up to us and go like, hey, you know, like I don't necessarily want to be on the mic or anything, but I would love to like help you guys, you know, do some video work or, you know, do clips or stuff like that. Because we do like the last episode we put out was about 4 hours long, and I'm assuming most people aren't going to listen to the whole thing. But if you can go in there and clip little things out, but that's a whole nother, like I said, it's about, you know, I could have the animations and all that stuff, but it would be, I'd be sitting here like a chicken with my head cut off. You know, I'd need 2 more hands and, you know, another brain just to keep things going.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, hell, at some point you go, fuck it. I'm going to be a goddamn artist and fuck your paycheck.
Fuck yeah, very much.
And, yeah, school ain't for everybody.
Never been for me, dude. Never. Not for a millisecond ever. But I've never let myself fail. Straight C student, you know what I mean? Like
respectable.
Fucking, as long as I pass, because you know why? If I were to fail, that means I stay in school longer.
Oh yeah.
That was literally my only motivation to pass school.
Right.
It's honestly, it's the saddest thing that it took me this fucking long to be like, fuck everybody, and because you know, there's just with our culture. With our culture, it's just kind of like the expectation, you know. Expectations to graduate are so like I could become the next fucking president, and my mom, my parents, and my family used to be like, "But where's your degree?" You know, like, fuck y'all.
I've got one for you.
Yeah, no.
It is what it is.
I just can't believe I waited so long. But no, I'm definitely not wasting any more fucking time. Like,
yeah, my mom was always like, just do what you like.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Just do what you like.
That's
do what
amazing.
you love.
Yeah.
Just go with the flow. Just, you don't have to go to school. Just do
it's
it.
fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming Freddy's going to come back and join us at some point, but we can go ahead and start wrapping things up. If you want to throw out the social media contacts for either your individual stuff or the fans.
Want to throw out No Variety, Sir Calamity's new it's recording company.
Okay.
And Charlie Bookings. I'm trying to do a new
which is his booking agency.
Also Caldo Frío and Monster Bohemian. And Instagram or Facebook or whatever. If you want to check it out.
Okay. As long as they just type one of those in.
Yeah. Charlie Bookings, Caldo Frío, Monster Bohemian.
Right on. Carmen, do you got anything to throw out there?
Yeah, if you guys are interested in something other than hip hop, I've got a rock and roll band too. I've got a show coming up with they're pretty well known. They're called Black Torah.
I've heard the name.
They're like a rock and roll band. They play very, very, very rarely in the valley.
Sorry.
So yeah, we're gonna open up with my band Blight Night, or one of my bands.
When is that?
Blight Night. That's gonna be on the 17th of what month are we? November.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's like November 17th of this month with Black Torah.
And this Friday.
This Friday we have a show, and
Verbería Cultura,
so a couple stuff out there. Usually, like if anybody out there follows me, would like to follow me, Carmen Castillo on Facebook. I always update my cover photo to my most recent event. So if you ever want to know, I try to never have anything that's not updated on my cover photo. It's always the next event. It's like literally as soon as the night finishes, like of an event, I'm just like, all right, putting the next flyer. Yeah. So if you guys follow me on Facebook, you'll always know what my next venture is going to be.
Right on. Freddy?
When does this episode come out?
It should be tomorrow, man. That would be the 7th.
Okay. So you can find me at Freddy G across the board, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we have a show / competition on November the 14th. Right?
Yeah.
What kind of competition? Like a competition?
Funniest in the RGB.
Ooh.
We're at
CNLA.
oh, Cine.
So we again do have tickets on hand. If you want to, anybody listening want to buy, you can hit me up personally. And I think the tickets are $10, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Tickets are $10, and I believe they're going to be 15 at the door, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that though. So yeah, we got that show going on, and I was going to say something else. No, I forgot. But did you have anything else to say other than the good night? Because I wanted to kind of wrap it around to the beginning. For the ones that will be watching this tomorrow, and you will probably already know, but I am sad to report that
Shut up! Don't tell me. Don't fucking tell me. No.
Yeah.
No.
Ted Cruz won or what?
That Republicans will remain majority control. The fuck is wrong with this dude?
He's fucking stupid.
Throwing Molotovs.
Damn it.
Hey, just
You were really supporting Cruz?
No, I don't support voting. I think it's wrong. I think it's a crime.
Yeah.
just remember, it takes them. You get at least like a 48-hour window. They still got to confirm the counting. Man.
Yeah, and right now
No, he was like ahead.
We're still red, Texas. We're still red.
No, they said he was ahead. Remember,
Red.
that was the problem with the last
Red.
round of elections.
He red.
Yeah.
Forever red.
So right now it's projected like when the final count is in, the Republicans will maintain majority.
I'm fucking disgusted. God damn it.
Yeah. So we have to continue with this bullshit. But anyway, yeah, what a way to end the show, you know?
What a way to end the show.
You can find me at hatfieldstandup@gmail.com, as well as on Facebook and Twitter. You can find the audio version of this podcast at shoutengine.com/bouncing brains, as well as Bouncing Brains on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook at Bouncing Brains Podcast. We have a group on there. You can get on there and discuss all the interesting guests that we've had on. This is episode 32, so we got plenty of material up there for you all to critique or praise or whatever the hell you want to do. And you can find us on Twitter at Bouncing Brains. By all means, subscribe on either the RSS feed for the audio version or on YouTube. If you have been watching, we would appreciate the support. For those of you that are already supporting, love the hell out of you. Stick around. We'll be doing this more.
And until next time,
Carmen, Chuy, it was great to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
our
Y'all
lovely,
out there.
our lovely audience.
Red State.
Until next time,
Red State.
Damn it.
this is out to every Republican. Please, from this day forward, please wear condoms when you have sex. Thank you.
That's a good
Appreciate
one right
you.
there. That's a good closer. Thank you. Good night.